This is Derek Staley with ESFIWorld.com here at the MLG Winter Championship 2012, and I'm joined by TLO. So, Dario, this is one of your first big events of 2012. How do you feel about your condition and your play right now overall?
I feel very confident in my play. I didn't do as well as I would hoped for at MLG. I think I lost in like losers 7 or 8 against Shinro, who played very well, and he knew my game plan, and he abused that pretty hard. He was very smart. We talked a lot, and then he countered me because he knew me so well. But on top of that, his mechanics were very well too. Other than that, I think I've been playing way better than at any MLG last year, and I'm just at a. I think I have an upswing that just is gonna continue throughout the year, and well, in the summer arena, I'm definitely gonna do very well.
So you mentioned we have a little bit different format this year. We have people starting winners round 5. You went through the open bracket. What do you think about the new format, both in regards to the arena system they have, where you have the MLG Winter Arena that came before this, as well as the group play changes without the point system like that, where people get locked into groups?
I think it's very good because, first of all, for people who don't live in America, you were kind of forced to go to every single MLG to retain a pool, which could be uncomfortable because it might collide with other tournaments, and then you have to travel so much every single month. And last year, I think a lot of people were very exhausted from traveling. So it's a better approach to be able to decide as a player, I want to focus on the winter arena or on the summer arena. So you can just pick the MLGs you want to go to, and it's much fairer too because more people get a chance to get into pool play, and we're not just gonna see the same people over and over again to do well at MLGs.
So as you mentioned, you ran into your teammate, Jinro. Can you talk about those games exactly and what he was able to abuse from your play, since I'm assuming he knew from practice and things like that he knew so well about your play style?
Well, I have an extremely circling heavy play style against Terran that has been very successful. I've beat Marine King with it. I've beat Cass 3-0 in a show match. And it's vulnerable to a few things. First of all, his Hellion control works very well, better than of most people. And he just found some cliffs on Antigua Shipyard, on Shakurs that were very hard to deal with for me because I don't have any air units, I don't really have any ranged units, and he put up those small cliffs as centers of his operation, and then he just kept dropping, and well, that's basically it. He got a big advantage from that.
So
And I should have been more adaptive.
outside of your games against your teammate, you also had Machine Tyler before you lost to Haswabs. Were you able to take anything from those games in particular that you're going to be able to apply going forward to help your game basically improve as you go forward?
Yeah, actually, it's a little bit weird because most people have do it completely backwards to what I do, or like I do it backwards because I often find strategies within tournaments that I haven't come up with yet. I can't really explain it. I just sometimes get that feeling and like almost get like goosebumps, and then I know, oh yeah, this makes sense, and then I know the exact timing of that too. It's not like I will execute it badly because I do it for the first time. And I feel against Machine, I came up with some new builds that are gonna feature pretty heavy Nidus Worm play in a new way that I haven't done before, and that worked out. I used it in both games, and I won 2-0 versus Machine. And against Tyler, I just played my A game. I played CVP as good as I can, and I think that really showed.
So, I mean, would you say you met your personal goals for this event, or did you think you'd get a little farther? Where did you think you'd end up going into the event?
I hit my personal goals when it comes to having improved my mindset so much. I felt zero frustration, and after my losses, I had a very productive mindset, knowing that after MLG, I will not be weakened by the tournament, but play even stronger than before MLG. So that is definitely a personal goal I have met. When it comes to just pure numbers, how far I went in the tournament, I didn't meet a personal goal, obviously. But I would even say that if I went second at MLG, only winning is what you should keep in mind. Even if it's unreasonable, I think it's important to have a winners and champions mindset.
So obviously you're a very popular player, and a lot of players have commented about MLGs where they love the fan interaction, but at the same time it can be hard to really go anywhere or do anything. Can you talk a little bit about how that is, where you have the situation where you have all the fans and it's great to see them all, but sometimes you're just trying to walk to go get a drink or something and you get swarmed by fans?
Yeah, it's been very hard for me the last years because I didn't know how to say no. So even the 20 minutes before a match, sometimes I would get stuck and sign stuff for 15 minutes and take pictures, which was very bad for my play because you should just clear your mind before you play. Now this year, I have been much more capable of just saying, I hope I can see you later. I'm definitely going to promise to give you a signature if we run into each other again. But right now I'm in my competition mood and I just want to have a clear head, or I just want to go get lunch because I'm really hungry. So people are very, very friendly. They're not gonna be pissed if you say no to them. So it's really not a fan problem. I think it was like a personal problem that I didn't know how to interact and say no.
So as somebody who's played random, and obviously you main race Terran for a long time, you have a little bit different perspective on balance than I think a lot of players have. Terran players right now are really frustrated with TVP especially, but also TVZ with the changes to snipe. Can you talk about those situations and what kind of your thoughts on the balance of the game right now?
I think balance should be very secondary to the thought of a pro gamer. I keep it in my mind in the way that it's important to know ghosts are weaker now, so I can play a little bit differently. But I never think about balance in the way that I ever think to myself, I lost because of the game. And I think way more pro gamers should adapt that kind of thinking, because it doesn't help you to get frustrated. You should find new ways to deal with it, and you should just play your best. If you lose anyways, you shouldn't think I lost because of Protoss, but if I would have played the best I could, I should have won the game. And then you should just aim for playing the best.
With that in mind, looking back, you obviously just recently switched from Terran to Zerg again. Are you comfortable with that decision now, looking back at it, and why do you think Zerg fits your playstyle better than Terran?
I am very comfortable. I mean, since 2012, my play has been becoming much better again. I think my fans can feel it and I can feel it, that my results are like slowly but steadily gathering up again. And I think I could still be a very good Terran player, but what really appeals to Zerg to me is it is absolutely endless. There's not a single game where I even have come close to perfection when it comes to playing Zerg. You can do so much, you can spread creep constantly. If you think about it, even in a 30-minute game, every 15 seconds you're gonna have a tumor cooldown. And if you don't do that, you're not playing perfectly. So Zerg really has so much endless potential. I think it probably has the highest skill cap possible. If you would just play perfectly, you can't really win against Zerg, but that's impossible. So that really appeals to me because I feel like I can never ever reach my limit with playing Zerg.
So late last year, you mentioned that you might be returning back to Korea this year. Do you have any details on that, or if that's still in the works, and when you might go and for how long?
It's still in the works, but I'm also trying to find other options. For me, going to Korea is not necessarily about competing in GSL. So I just want to practice with Koreans to become better. I think like at my current state, playing GSL wouldn't be reasonable anyways. So I really want to compete at GSL at some point in my life. After I win like MLGs and stuff, I know I can take it to the next level and try out at GSL. So right now I'm thinking, other than living in Korea, maybe I could also live in California and play on Korea if I find out that the latency is good enough. So, but it's still kind of on the works. I just take it slowly. I don't want to rush anything. Again, just like last year, just moving from country to country. I want to find the perfect plan for me and then see if I can execute it properly.
A lot of players, in addition to obviously playing on the Korean server against the other Korean players, cite the Korean team house environment as a big reason for improvement. Can you talk about that environment and how hard it is to transition into sort of that situation whenever you're used to practicing by yourself?
Honestly, I actually think the team house environment is negative. It is better than what most people do because programmers tend to be a little bit lazy, so they like fall into a lot of bad habits. The idea of a team house is good, having a coach and having people train together, but it's badly executed even in Korea. It's still the best what we have at the moment, but I think I can do better on my own at the moment because I just started to do a lot of things right compared to most people. I picked up meditation, I picked up lots of exercises, and I just created a very comfortable environment for me that feels that I'm thriving in, that I wouldn't be capable of doing in Korea. Or I would need a lot more discipline to do it in Korea even.
So moving away from that a little bit, recently Mike Morheim was in Korea talking to OGN and Kespa about the possibility of a StarCraft 2 Pro League starting soon. What kind of impacts on the scene do you think would happen if Brood War players and teams do switch over, both internationally and in Korea?
Again, I don't even really think about stuff like that anymore. I'm just focused on my game. I'm really bad about knowing what's going on in the community by now because I've been too involved at some points. that I took a step back just to be purely focused on the game. So I don't care. I mean, hopefully it's good for StarCraft, but I don't have like any strong opinions on it.
What about Heart of the Swarm? Do you have any opinions on what would need to be changed to make the game a better game?
No, not really either. Sorry to disappoint you there, but I think we are so far from reaching a point where we actually know how to play StarCraft that it's very hard to make predictions what we have to change if we even haven't figured out the full potential of StarCraft yet. We are not even close to it yet. So making any comments on what has to be improved should only be done if we actually know what we are doing.
If you look outside the game a little bit, is there anything you'd like to see in Heart of the Swarm as far as interface or interacting with other players or anything like that inside the game client?
They should just bring back the Warcraft 3 Battle.net. Period.
Tournaments and all that built in the game
and having clan systems, and they had so much nice stats too in Warcraft 3. You could go to your Battle.net profile and you could see all your win rates in all matchups. How much did you win with a hero and how well did you do in a 15-minute game or a 20-minute game? None of those features are on Battle.net 2. I recently heard, I think Battle.net was programmed by people who programmed some Xbox Live interfaces or
I believe
something.
that's right, yeah.
And that really shows because it's so simple, and Battle.net 2 is just horrible, to be honest. It doesn't have anything good in it. There's not a single feature in Battle.net 2 where I think, this is so great, no other game had that. They just have to completely remake it.
All right, so what are your goals in 2012 as a player? What do you need to accomplish in order to consider it a success for yourself?
Incremental improvement is the biggest motto I have for 2012. I could say I want to win an MLG or anything, but none of that really matters. As long as I improve steadily in this year, I'm happy about it. Winning an MLG is obviously still in my head because you need to have a goal, but it's more important for me to just keep improving, and I'm doing that pretty well at the moment. So I'm very optimistic.
All right, thank you very much for your time. Any last words?
Sure. Big shout out to Team Liquid as always. Thanks to my fans for keep cheering for me. And yeah, just to everybody, what I have learned last year and this year is find happiness and try to be happy about things in life and have a positive mindset. And you're going to improve in every single profession in your life. Because 2012, I was struggling so much, and that was a pure mind thing in my head. Now that I have a positive mindset, I feel like I'm just becoming better at everything in my life. And I just want to share that with everybody. Just keep positive mindsets and you're going to become good at anything you want.